Okay, so I've never done one of these, but this seems like a pretty interesting one, so I'm going to go ahead and try to start now. Um, I think that this sort of break that's happening in between Persinger and Dawkins here, um, I think it's just one not being able to explain the same experience to another. Like they're not willing to speak the same language. And I think it's proven um, by a couple things that Dawkins says. He says, they're not the same things that would happen to me on a darkened night. I mean, that's all he says. So like those same, he feels like he's been put into basically a psychedelic state just by having the lights off. I mean, I think this is saying something about Dawkins' chemistry, and it not only what it's his chemistry is normally at, it's baseline, it's sort of pre-programmed part of his awareness, but also his level of influence basically as what he lets out as far as what he's able to control in himself and really just keep and work with and somehow explain it in his head but not really have to relate it. He just says he just sort of like makes that part of a zero sum equation in order for his theories to really make sense. And I think it's why um, it doesn't translate all the time for people who consider themselves more religious because they're they're feeling these things and they've described them a certain way because of the information that they've had up to that point, which has basically, shaped their perceptions, basically. Um, so I think it's really this failure to communicate, basically, between the whatever religious right, if you want to call them that, just sort of people who accept their beliefs up to a certain point and then basically just say, well, I have faith, basically, after that point. It's the thing that can't be explained that necessitates the rest of your idea to work. And then on the other side, you have people who basically that's not quite enough for them. They kind of have like more energy, they want to know themselves more, maybe. Um, Whatever, it's that ability to understand that you can teach yourself things and then from there go on and basically formulate your own curriculum for your whole life. And I think if there is any kind of difference between people, which I really don't believe in, because we're basically 6 billion copies of the same DNA, talk to a geneticist, we're the only species that thinks that every single person is basically a subspecies. We're one species. Um, so I think it's really just this language thing. It's really comes down to language, and I think that's why computer programmers get it, um, particle physicists get it, maybe people that work with a lot of math, and artistic people, like people who are able to create and are able to tap into that. Like they get it because they have their outlet basically where it makes sense and it makes sense to the group of people that they're in. And then maybe there's another type of people. I don't know. I mean, it seems like everyone is basically that more or less, and then they just accept their lives. But I don't know. I think this is an interesting video, and I'd like to hear more. Um, Good luck, guys.